Good morning. 2020 Form 45CC2 Depreciation and Amortization Part 4. Part 1, Line 1 to Line 5 of Form 45CC2 Depreciation and Amortization. So Part 1 is going to be Section 179. So Line 1, the maximum of cost or basis of property placed in business during the year, you will claim Section 179 expense deduction. And the maximum is 1,040,000. So you'll enter the total, but no more than 1,040,000 on line 1. And there is a worksheet on page 4 of instructions to Form 45CC2 Depreciation and Amortization, and this one is for 2019, but it's good to use the current year if IRS releases by the time you are working on your depreciation. And keep in mind, for 2020, the maximum is 1,040,000, and 2019 was 1,020,000. And the maximum on line 7 is 2,590,000 for 2020, and for 2019 it was 2,550,000. And on IRS publication 946 2019 version, you'll be able to find their numbers for 2020. So 1,040,000 for 2020 is the maximum for line 1 of Part 1, Section 179 expense deduction, and the maximum is 2,590,000. So on line 40, on line 1, maximum amount, you'll be able to use the worksheet to calculate it. So let's take a look at the worksheet. Maximum Section 179 limitation calculation. So enter total cost of Section 179 property, including qualified Section 179 real property placed in service during the tax year beginning. We'll just say 2020. So you put all the costs on line 1 here, and you don't want the and you'll have the maximum, pretty much the maximum 1,040,000 on line 2. So line 3 will be the smaller of the two. So if you place a property in your business and it costs $1 million, $1 million will be on line 1 of the worksheets, and that will be the smaller of 1 million and 1,040,000. So you'll put 1 million again on line 3 of the worksheet. And let's continue. So if you have an enterprise zone business, so there is another additional amount here, but we are not going to take that into consideration. But enter the smaller of 35,000 and the cost of the qualified Section 179. That is also qualified empowerment zone property. So now you are going to add line 3 and line 4 together, and that's why we'll go on line 1 of your Form 45CC2. So your 1 million that you have on line 3 will be the same on line 5 as well, if you don't have any enterprise zone business to claim an additional 35,000 or whatever the amount is. You'll be able to find in the instructions for that specific, for more detail on that. So your 1 million will be on line 5 of the worksheet, and when you go to your form 45cc2, that will be the same that you'll put on line 1 of part 1. That will be the total cost of your properties placed in service, and you won't have, it should not exceed the 1,040,000. So if the property placed in service is more than 1,040,000, then 1,040,000 is what you'll have on line 1 of part 145cc2. So line 2 of part 145cc2, total cost of section 179, property placed in service. Before we get there, let's read a little bit about recapture. If you claim section 179 on a property that could have been depreciated over 5 years, and later you just use it for 3 years and you took it out of your business, the remaining 2 years depreciated amount that you will have claimed, if you are using a regular depreciation, you will include that on your tax return as an income. That's one of the reasons I don't use section 179 and special depreciation allowance. If you place an asset in your business and you claim you expense it using section 179 and you don't use it for the time it was supposed to be fully depreciated, if you are using regular depreciation, a lot of time you'll have 5 and 7 years for like for many assets that you use in your business. But if you are talking about building, it will be either residential or non-residential, so 39 years or 25.5 years. So we are not talking about those, but for those assets that you could depreciate for 5 years or for 7 years, for instance, if you claim section 179 and fully depreciated, fully expensed in the first year you place in the service, and then you don't use it for the full 5 years or 7 years, depending on the item, then you have to calculate the depreciation for the remaining years that you have left, and add that as an income to your business, as an income to your tax return. So section 179 is great if your business is profitable and you would like to lower your taxable profit. However, if your business is at early stage with low revenue, it might be advisable or recommended to depreciate your assets instead, like using regular depreciation system. So keep in mind that you could carry over section 179 for future years as well. So if you did not take all, or if for future year, if you didn't take all, or you couldn't claim all in the year you reported, but keep in mind as well that section 179, you don't have to expense the full cost. You could just choose to expense a part of the cost and depreciate the rest as well. It just makes things a lot more complicated when you are using that route. But once again, it is your business. You are the one in charge. You just have to see how much of your time you wanted to pour in by choosing that route, and keep a good record of whatever you are doing, so that years later you can remember what you did and go from there. So the worksheet on part 4, which we already talk about, could help you determine the amount that will go on line 1, and we use the example of 1 million asset placed in your business. in 2020. So line 2, you'll enter the total of all the properties you would like to claim Section 179 for, including listed property from Form 4562 Part 5 that you use more than 50% in your business. Also, include real property your spouse placed in service during the same year and would like to claim Section 179 for, even if you both are going to file separate tax return. So enter the amount on line 2, and it should be the same amount as line 1 on worksheet 1. It could be the same as line 1 of Form 45CC2 if it is less than 1,040,000. So line 2, total cost of Section 179 property placed in service. So you will put all the costs of the items you wanted to claim Section 179 for. And if we take a look at the worksheet, maximum threshold cost of Section 179 property before a reduction in limitation calculation. So enter the amount from line 1 here on Form 45CC to line 2. So the amount on line 1 will be the 1 million we start with. So enter the total cost of 179 property. So you'll put all the total cost of all the assets you wanted to claim Section 179. It will go on line 1 here, and the smaller of the maximum 1,040,000 for 2020, and that amount, the smaller, will go on line 3, and that's why we'll go on line 1 here. And for line 2, you'll just put the total cost of all the assets. So that's the amount on line 1 here. You'll put it on line 6, the total amount on line 1 of the worksheet will go on line 6 and will go on line 2. It's not, you are not limiting it with, the maximum Section 179 just yet. So base, and okay, so if because we use 1 million, and 1 million is already lower than 1,040,000. So in an example of 1 million asset placed in service, that just will be that 1 million that you'll have on line 2. So your line 1 will be that 1 million. That's the maximum you can deduct. It's not more than the maximum 1,040,000. Your total maximum is less than the maximum allowed for Section 179. So you put 1 million on line 1 and 1 million on line 2 of Part 145CC2. So the base maximum threshold cost of Section 179 property before reduction in limitation, line 3, is 2,590,000. So pretty much what it means is, if the total cost of all the assets you wanted to claim Section 179 is more than 2,590,000 for 2020, there will be a deduction of the amount you could claim. The maximum you could claim is 1,040,000 for 2020, but if the total cost of asset placed in service is more than 2,590,000, you won't be able to claim that maximum 1,040,000. It will start going down. So that's what this session, the maximum threshold cost is about. So threshold cost for Section 179 property before reduction limitation. So line 3, enter the threshold amount for 2020 is 2,590,000. So you'll put that on line 3, and you'll notice that in the worksheet they already have it there for 2019. 2020 will be 2,590,000. So enter this amount on form 4562 line 3. Maximum elected cost for form 4562 line 6 and 7 column C. So enter the smaller of line 1 or line 5. The total amount you enter on form 4562 line 6 and 7 column C cannot exceed this amount. So line 4 is line 2 minus line 3. If it is 0 or negative, you enter 0. So line 4. Reduction in limitation. So you'll just take line 2 minus line 3. So line 3 is 2,590,000. And we are using 1 million just for an example. Let's see if I'm getting my zeros right. And we'll have the same 1 million here as well. Don't allow me to just write it like this. So line 2 minus line 3, you'll enter 0 on line 4 if it is negative. And that, so line 5, dollar limitation for tax year. So subtract line 4 from line 1. If 0 or less, enter 0. If married, filing separately, see instruction. So line 5, line 1 minus line 4. If it is 0 or negative, enter 0. Skip line 6 to 11. Enter on line 12. You cannot take the deduction. So if line 5 is more than 0, enter the full amount and go on line 6. Okay, so subtract line 4 from line 1. So line 1, 1 million minus 0 is 1 million. And line 5, if it's, let me see here, if it is 0 or negative, you cannot take the deduction. But if it is more than 0, you go on line 6. If you cannot take the deduction, then you just skip line 6 to 11 and go on line 12. But since it's more than 0, you'll go to line 6. And that's how you fill out part 1, line 1 to 5 of form 4562 depreciation and amortization for 2020. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching our videos. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Thank you for reading our blog articles. We'll have the description of how to fill up this part on our website, nasop.com, under the category how to depreciate business assets. We'll have a playlist 2020 Form 4562 Depreciation and Amortization for all the videos on how to complete Form 4562 Depreciation and Amortization. on our YouTube channel as well. And we'll have all the links in the description for our podcast and for the videos. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you all that subscribe to our channel, and thank you for all your comments. I'm Afiavi Liberman, creators of Liberman Consulting LLC YouTube channel, Liberman Consulting LLC podcast, ninasoup.com, our blog, where you can access free download session for templates to manage your money, to manage your business. Free. You don't need to enter your email to access them, and to access links to IRS form and instructions there as well. We do have our online stores, including natural product, ninasoup.com, custom apparel, liberlabel.com, digital products, liberdownload.com, and resell household products, liberoutlets.com. Thank you for your time.